I'm getting high with my 4-5. Cops only suffer from a die. Even as a youngster, causing ruckus on the back of the bus. I was a fool all through high school, kicking up dust. But now I'm labeled as a troublemaker. Who can you blame? Smoking weed up, we take away the pain. So I'm hopeless, rolling down the freeway, swerving. Don't worry, I'm about to crash upon the curb. Cause my business bloody, baby, if they try to understand me. What should I do? I had to feed my fucking family. What else could I do but be a thug? I'm slanging with the homies, fuck hanging with them phonies in the club. Got my mind on danger, never been a stranger to homicide. My city's full of gangbangers and drive-bys. Why do we die at an early age? He was so young, but still a victim of 12 gauge. My memories of a corpse, mind full of sick thoughts, and I ain't going back to court. So fuck what you thought. I'm drinking Hennessy, running from my enemies. When I live a beat 23, there's so much pain.
Everybody, welcome in, everyone. Hey, Miss Jean. Hey, Miss Joseph, and everyone that's on YouTube and everyone that's on X. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's Wednesday. Oh, thank you. Yeah, YouTube don't seem to like that song very much. But I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Thank you. Everyone, please like, follow, and share. I'd appreciate that. That way we can share it out, get the news out, and reach a broader band of people. So, how is everybody? Hopefully everybody's good. Man, this DNC has got a lot of people up in an uproar, a total uproar. It is ridiculous. One of the arresting officers that was in the George Floyd case, actually, apparently his prison sentence he's done it. He's out. But they've also moved Chavez to a Texas prison because, you know, he was attacked about a year ago. And what was strange about that attack, he was attacked and they didn't even tell his family. His family went like a whole almost 2 days without knowing if he was alive or not. Hi, Dean. How are you? So a lot of stuff going on. You just kind of got to read between the lines. I've been trying to catch up on this DNC. I've been trying to find certain videos, but it seems to me that Kamala Harris, that whole DNC team, is doing nothing more than copying the RNC. I mean, Trump brought his family, you know, on stage and did a lot of great things. Said a lot of great things. Had to do with policies. I haven't heard any policies from these people. It's like a popularity contest. Even, you know, Democrats are saying no. The delegates are, I mean, she even got denied a lot of delegates. I'm not sure how many delegates right at this moment has agreed for her to be. Last night was like a little over 800. She needs over 1,900. I mean, Trump had that shit in the bag, period. Plain and simple. He had that shit where it needed to be. Well, remember there was this sheriff, and he was begging for help. Which I have that video we're going to watch, for help from Kamala when she became the border czar. He was begging for her to come to the border and do something. Let's watch.
Tell us about what you are asking for. What are your needs?
Well, right now, thank you for having me first off. Right now, what I'm asking for is for the president or a member of his administration that can make decisions to come down and talk to not just me, but at least 12 other Texas sheriffs from major counties in the state of Texas that are dealing with this issue firsthand. So I'd like to see somebody from Washington come down here, get boots on the ground, get eyes on the issue at hand, and then talk to us, a bipartisan group of Texas sheriffs that are really taking a common sense approach because we have to.
Saying a common sense approach to that. Now, see, he was begging for help, begging for people to show up because it's a bad situation. Well, tonight he spoke at the DNC, and here is what he had to say.
When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second. He is a self-serving man. I mean, look, just like when he killed the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail. Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out. I may be paraphrasing a bit. We protect them. Now, the border sheriffs that I know, right, and we're like Kamala. We protect and serve. We enforce the law. We show compassion. And we fight like hell to protect our border. Because as we've always known in Texas, cuando luchamos, ganamos. When we fight, we win.
They did get to him, Gene. They did get to him. I just showed the video of where he was begging for people to come from Washington, D.C. down there. And then he goes off the rails about Trump. He apparently is pocketing money. He apparently has already gotten paid off because Trump goes to the border and they walk with respect with him. And if Trump was the one who actually contained the border, who had wanted to build the border wall, he is the one who couldn't get the financing for it and eventually was able to do it in a different way. He wanted Mexico to pay for the border because it's immigrants coming from Mexico and other countries. So, yeah. But he wants to sit there and say that Trump is a disgusting, pretty much, human being. And when he goes to the border, he rubs elbows and doesn't want to do anything. You talk out of both sides of your damn mouth, sheriff. And that is a sheriff everybody should remember to not vote for. Because they've got to him. And the sheriff is the most important person in your town when shit pops off. Because, see, he can deputize many people. And what if he deputized the wrong people? Imagine what would happen there. So you've got to know your sheriffs. And he is just cracking me up as well. It is ridiculous. Joseph, I think there's some emojis on the browser when you come in through the browser on Rumble. I believe the emojis are in there. Hey, John, good to see you. Good to see you. But that just really pissed me off. Let's watch it again.
When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second. He is a self-serving man. I mean, look, just like when he killed the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail. Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out. I may be paraphrasing a bit. We protect them. Now, the border sheriffs that I know, right, and we're like Kamala. We protect and serve. we enforce the law. We show compassion. And we fight like hell to protect our border. Because as we've always known in Texas, cuando luchamos, ganamos. When we fight, we win.
Well, I personally haven't seen her stop not one child from being trafficked on that border. Not one personally. I haven't seen her do any of that. And she didn't even go to the border where the border's wide ass open. So get that shit right, Sheriff. You're spewing lies. And I pray, and I hope that the American people that voted for you in office see now exactly who you are and what you stand for and how easy it is for you to be bought, however you got bought, because that's what happened here. That's exactly what happened here. For how dare you talk about how she's come down there and stopped child trafficking? How freaking dare you say that? Because she has not. Has not. As a matter of fact, do you know that there is over 300,000 children that are unaccounted for that have came across that border that DHS and Homeland Security and all your three-letter agencies have no idea where they're at? Now, the crooked part of that, of the ones in these three-letter alphabet agencies, know exactly where these kids are. They have been trafficked around the whole country. The whole country. And that is all that happens, is they're continuously trafficked. So don't you dare, Sheriff, stand there and say anything of that nature, period. Because straight up, she has done nothing for that border. She has done nothing for stopping human trafficking. So you can just well, I guess they didn't like what I had to say. I'm back. Hang on, let me switch over to this other. Can you guys see me okay? Hear me okay? Give me red hearts if you can see me and hear me. Okay, we're back. I guess they didn't like what I had to say. Was I hitting a couple of shit that you didn't like? FBI can't find their way out of a paper bag. Agreed. Okay, cool. They think that they repeat the same lie over and over and the people would be fooled, but they have no idea. Yeah, I mean, that burns me up when someone stands up there and lies that knows what's going on, probably part of the cartel now, probably fears them because he's gotten his ass so in deep with it. And to sit there and say that she has come down and she has helped stop trafficking children. You are just as guilty as every child that gets trafficked across there, or woman, or little boy, or man that gets trafficked, period, across that border. If you sit there and you say that Kamala Harris has done one freaking thing for that border, because she ain't done shit. She ain't done one freaking thing. Not one. Not one. My goodness. Wow. These Democrats, they are sickening. I swear, they are sickening. So sickening. And Trump, hey, that man loves America, and he is the only president that has tried to stop child trafficking. It seems to me like at the DNC, what they're doing, they're copycatting everything, like everything Trump, period, ever did. At his DNC, every single bit. I mean, anywhere's from bringing family members up. So tonight, Kamala Harris decided to bring her little nieces and nephews up on the stage, trying to make it more family oriented, But, Trump actually is family oriented. But let's watch just a 20-second clip.
And we will too.
Am I the only one that noticed these niggas not black?
But she always makes time for family. From moments as simple as cooking and sharing.
Well, that was from one of the podcasters. And Kamala says she's black. I didn't see any of them black, truthfully. Not a one. Not a one. You're right, Joseph. She has not done anything. Calvin Harris is be at the door. I don't even color my vice president at the. She's not even a vice president. Joe Biden, not either. You're right. I agree with you, John. Absolutely. You can't. I mean, now they pulling the I'm gonna pull my family in here card. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Well, there has been a lot of crazy things that have taken place at this DNC. It is like a frat house on steroids, I swear. To me, that is exactly what it looks like, for sure. It is crazy. Let's have a listen.
So back in the 1950s, the Chinese developed a slogan, the Three Red Banners, which was for the propagation and building of the socialist state in China. It stood for the People's Commune, the socialist construction, and the Great Leap Forward. Now, if you look around at some things that are going on with Democrats these days, I mean, there's the DNC. I don't know if you see the three red. Anyway, it goes back a little ways to this guy right here. That's interesting. Oh, and then when his successors, which was actually Obama 2.0, when they three red banners, and look, even C-SPAN got in on it. Interesting stuff. If you just pay attention, it's right in front of you.
See, the signs are there. Exactly. What they are wanting to do. They're putting it right out in front of your face. The slogans that they say, Build Back Better. It has nothing to do about taking care of the country. They want to completely tear down our freedoms and the Constitution. They want to completely just level it and build it back in their ideology. If they had their way, even Democrats, if they had their way with Republicans or Democrats, just a human being, period, they would house you in concentration camps. They would get rid of you. They like to go to child traffic. They're perverts. That's all they have is perversion, pedophiles. That's all they think about. They're sickening people. They're evil demons. It's a spiritual warfare. I'm telling you guys, it's spiritual warfare, period. It's exactly what we're going through at this time. It's a crazy time. It absolutely is a crazy time. And, they have the abortion clinic. Well, it's an RV. They have an abortion RV sitting right out front, and they actually are all booked, and they can get a vasectomy as well. They're all booked up. And Mike Lindell actually went undercover at the DNC, which we've had some Republicans going undercover. We've had some just going and, I just laughing it out. I wouldn't be caught dead around there. But when he went, he ended up bumping into Harry Sisson. Do you guys know Harry Sisson? He's that young kid that's on TikTok and other places. He's in Obama's pocket. He's getting paid by the DNC, like a bunch of TikTokers are. And like a bunch of TikTokers are there because they got paid to come there. They got free stuff to come there. But Mike Lindell, he went undercover. Here's a 30-second video.
I have a question. Actually, inside the building. I have a question. How does it feel to support a convicted felon? Hey, look at this, guys. See how they attack here? Look at they're attacking me on the war room.
A proven sexual abuser, convicted felon.
Harry Sisson, have you gotten your vasectomy yet? I think that's what the audience wants to know.
Have you got your vasectomy yet? Did you get your vasectomy? Were you aborted? Did your mom get your I pray for you that your mom did not abort you.
I hope that you don't support a sex.
They roasted Harry's ass right then. They roasted his ass. Harry, did you get your vasectomy yet? Well, here's what Democrat lady, she's over pro-abortion. This is what she says about American people.
But we will only be heard if we vote. As the saying goes, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So Gen Z, let's take our seat in our democracy and cast our ballots this November for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And
they have no clue. See, that's why they're going after Gen Z. That's why on TikTok it's 70% of the population. 70% is Gen Z that's on TikTok. Possibly it might even be 80. And that is why Kamala is pretty much on TikTok trying to go after him. And last year, Biden actually partnered up with China with TikTok for election. That's why when you're on the app, if you're not familiar with it, if you're on the app, you'll see at the very bottom, it will come up as you're talking. And if you say anything about vote or anything like that, which you get banned if you show any information about illegal ballots or anything that has to do with voting, okay? But they can sit there and push out and say, tap here and register to vote. So now TikTok will take you straight to go vote. That was a partnership that the Biden and Harris administration hooked up with. Sure did. But Gen Z is who these people are after. Period. Because they have no chance. They can't go after the average working American because the average working American is sick of the bullshit. We're out here struggling. We're pulling those hours. We're pulling those jobs. Period. Period. And it is just, if you vote for Kamala, there is something wrong with you. There is something serious wrong with you. You've got some mental issues. You've got some serious screws loose in your goddamn brain. It is ridiculous. I can't believe it, but these people, it's horrible. It's horrible. Well, let's listen to a little more of tonight's DNC.
Because too many of our fellow Americans are struggling every day to just get by, to put food on the table, to pay the rent, and to get the health care they need.
Okay, they know what's going on in our country. They're spewing the freaking bullshit. They know exactly what is going on in our country. They're the cause of it. See, look how moronic this is. We have Biden and Harris as president and vice president in the White House. Okay, I'm going to spell it out for you ABCs that need it, okay? They're in the White House. Who controls the country, is in charge of the country? The president makes decisions. Yes, Congress and Senate votes on them. But at the end of the day, you have a leader over the United States. You have a vice president as well in case something happens to this leader. Well, something has happened to this leader the whole 3.5 years. So Kamala has been in that position, but we have had Obama running this freaking country, period. That is what's been going on. That is exactly what's been going on. And the country is paying for it. The country is paying dearly for it. And they want to stand up at the DNC. They want to spew the bullshit that comes out of their goddamn mouths saying the country's hurting. People are having a hard time paying their rent. Food. Yeah, we know it. We're living it. You got millions of dollars in your pocket of our money, of the taxpayers' money, and you've given it to all these other countries. You have caused this problem. You're in office right now, and you're saying the shit that's going on in the country and how bad. You can't blame that shit on Trump. Trump wasn't even in office the last 3.5 years, period. This is your mess. And now you want people to vote to keep you in office so you can continue with the mess? And you want to say you're going to do different by it? What the hell are you going to do different by it? The country is in chaos right now. And then the whole entire world. And you want to go up there and you want to bring a Humpty Dumpty as vice president And then you got the alcoholic wanting to be president. I swear to God, Congress, get off your ass. Somebody, please get off your ass and vote these people out. I mean, get to the polls. I'm going to tell you, you guys should be running to them polls in November. Run to those polls in November like it's the last day of your life, because it just might be if these people get in office. Your kids will not have a future. Your grandkids won't have a future. The future generation of them will not have a future. The freedoms will be taken away. You haven't seen destitute. You haven't seen anything yet of what they have planned. They have it all spelled out for you, and they give you a taste here and there. We have no idea. It is going to get so freaking bad, you guys. They do not want Trump to go in power. They will not allow Trump to go in power. They will do everything they can to stop it. But we, the people, have to vote and get them in. Look what they did. They took the Democrats' vote away. They took their vote away and said, this is it. Then they went and let RFK on the ballot. They wouldn't even allow him to be a candidate. When has that ever happened in the history of the U.S.? Our Constitution gives a person a right. I may not be a Democrat, but he had every right to run if he wanted to. Period. They had no right to do what they've done. And Democrats, for you to sit back idly and accept that and scream democracy, that lets me know you don't have the first clue about what democracy is. Period. Because if you did, you'd be fighting for it. You'd be standing up for it. You'd be screaming it from the rooftops and wanting to know why the hell are these people doing what they're doing and how do they have the right to do it? They don't. But if you allow them to do it, they will. And that is as simple as that. Period. Period. And that is how our country is going in the direction it's going in. But let me ask you a question. We got Americans coming across the border. They just come in right on across the border. No vetting, no credentials, no ID, no nothing, right? American border, where it should be the most protected area at all. Then tell me why this happens if there's not a danger.
As here on the west side of Chicago, Democratic National Convention at United Center. The Democrats, of course, want open borders and want an endless stream of illegal migrants pouring into the United States. This is my new acquaintance, Edwin. Say hello.
My name's Edwin. Nice to meet you.
All right, Edwin is from Venezuela. And we're going to take Edwin into the DNC so that he can meet the Democrats who want open borders. He should meet his new friends, hear the speakers, and learn about the Democratic Party. So, Edwin, let's head in, shall we?
Excelente.
Right. This is Edwin from Venezuela, migrant, invited in by the Democrat Party. He'd like to come into the Democratic Convention.
You have to get your credentials. Yep, you have to go to Jackson.
Yep. Wait, you mean he needs credentials and permission to come in?
Yes.
To get past the wall?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a border wall in a way, huh?
Yeah. You have to have ID, credentials. He can come
Okay,
in.
to come to the United States?
No.
Not to come to the United States. Okay, but to come to the Democratic Convention.
Here, baby.
Okay. You believe in security. You believe in securing a boundary. Edwin can't come in.
Without credentials.
That's all I know. I commend you on guarding this border. You're doing it very effectively, folks. Good morning. Hi there. We would like to get some credentials for Edwin. Come on, Edwin. Edwin is from Venezuela.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
So we tried to get Edwin into the convention. He's a migrant from Venezuela. No organization, just American. And he's a migrant from Venezuela. Wanted to get into the convention. We figured that we'd love to have a migrant from Venezuela come in. They said we need to get credentials. So we're here to get the credentials.
Okay. Has anyone filled out an application for him?
So you have to, there's a process in the application. He didn't have that at the border.
Okay. I have my own personal beliefs on this, but right now I'm serving his own custody. So I've asked him to turn the camera off.
Just to be clear, we have been ejected from the DNC credentialing office because we're not permitted to be here. We don't have permission. We didn't go through the application process. It seems like the United States would use similar rules about crossing the U.S. border. DNC doesn't believe in that, but they do believe in it for their own convention. This is Edwin. He's from Venezuela. He's a migrant. Democratic Party wants an endless stream of migrants into America, so I'd like him to go and meet his political friends, listen to the speeches, and come in the Democratic convention. While you're laughing, he's allowed to come to the United States without identification or permission. Can he come into the DNC?
I don't think the Secret Service is going to go for it, no.
They're not going to go for it? Well, they went for it at the border.
Well, maybe he can get credentials.
How can we help you, sir? We'd like to get Edwin in. The Democratic Party invited him into America from Venezuela. We'd like to get Edwin in to meet his Democratic friends. Do you need credentials to go in the United States?
We're done.
Do you need credentials to go in the United States?
You need credentials to pass this point.
So we do need credentials here to get past this heavily armed barrier. Well, Edwin, Kamala Harris has an open border. You're allowed in America. You're not allowed into her party. Oh well, Edwin, we tried. 2 gates, credentials, 0 for 3. That's a strikeout in VS see? Today's strikes. We're out.
Podría haber una diferencia.
Same incorrect.
Yeah.
So you can come through the American border, the U.S. border, and not be vetted and not have to show any ID or nothing. But to get into the DNC, which is heavily guarded and armed, you cannot get credentials because you don't have the ID. Can't get credentials to go in, but you can America. Make that make sense. Think about it. They are fighting to let immigrants in here, okay? They're using you immigrants. They're using you. And they know that they're going to figure out a way to get you IDs and voter registration cards. They know this. That's the only thing you're good. They bought your vote is what they did. They handed you each a shit ton of money that us, the taxpayers, have been paying and gave it to you. And now you coming over here and thinking you're going to vote. I hope every freaking state is cleaning up their voter rolls. Because if you're not cleaning them up and you are an illegal immigrant and you vote, we are going to find out that you are illegal and you will go to jail. Your punishments will be very fast. You will be sent back to where you came from or somewhere worse. Because just imagine the journey you made here. The journey back is even going to be tougher because you won't be going somewhere safe. You'll be going back into where it's not. So go ahead and try to vote and see what happens. I tell you, every state needs to have it cleaned up. Every state needs to have it cleaned up. Plain and simple. Well, Pelosi decided to take the stage here a few minutes ago at the DNC. I wonder if she was drunk tonight.
January 20th, 2021, with the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, we established one of the most successful presidencies of modern times. And we quickly proved that Democrats deliver. Millions of jobs, stronger infrastructure and rural broadband, a Biden child tax credit, rescuing human pensions, honoring our veterans, bold climate action, lowering the cost of prescription drugs, all thanks to President Biden's patriotic vision of a fairer America, doing so with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Joe.
Okay, liberty and justice for all. You're so full of it, Pelosi. You're so full of it. Wasn't you the one that was holding up the Ukraine flag in our Senate? Wasn't in the House? Wasn't you the one that was pushing for Ukraine this whole entire time? And wasn't you the one who didn't want the Star Spangled Banner sang and you didn't want the American flag shown? I mean, you don't care about the American people. All you care about is lining your pockets. That's it. That's why you do insider trading. You are a demon. You are flat out a freaking drunk ass demon. That is what you are. Plain and simple. You have no clue. And the Biden administration has not done anything, and they haven't kept any promises. If anything, they have made the country so much worse. And you want to talk about jobs? Why is it they lied about almost 1 million jobs? They inflated the jobs that they said they created. They didn't create almost 1 million jobs, probably more than that, honestly, because I haven't seen hardly any jobs, any new jobs. If anything, I have seen restaurants closing down, shopping centers closing down, small businesses going under. So tell me, if you're creating this many jobs, then why is employment rate skyrocketing? Because it is. You can spew your lies, you can spew your numbers out there, but if you do your research diligently, you will find out a totally different story. Their narrative will not work any longer. It's just not. You have to wake up to their bullshit. You have to see it for what it is, period. They are kiss asses. But she's just ridiculous. This guy here, he's at the DNC, and you have to listen to what he had to say. He's hilarious.
What brought you out here today? No, listen, my name is Noah Shorts. I use he, they pronouns. Like, I'm just really excited that we have, like, the first black woman that could be the president of the United States. And, you know, like, my wife, right? We're in a polyamorous relationship. The lover that my wife took is African American. And, like, I've learned so much about the struggle that people of color go through as a result of my wife's boyfriend. And so I'm excited to really do my part to show solidarity for my marginalized communities. And, like, the best way to do that is to get the first woman of color to be the commander-in-chief. And I'm really excited. I'm so pumped.
Were you this pumped and excited when Joe Biden was the nominee?
I mean, listen, like, I would go for a corpse over voting for Donald Trump because he's a disgusting fascist, white supremacist pig. But now, like, you know, we get to really make history. We have, you know, like I said, we have the first woman of color to be president of the United States. And, like, you know, our country, it was founded on the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in Kamala Harris, there's nothing embodies those values more than a Kamala Harris presidency. So I'm pumped, like, I'm ready. You know, I am so excited. I'm a proud white dude for Kamala Harris, baby. Let's go! Woo!
Have you seen any excitement at a Democratic event like in this stadium? Or?
No, listen, this is amazing. You know, like, you can't generate. I couldn't see any more excitement. Like, the only way there could be any more excitement is if, you know, maybe you have, like, an artist or a celebrity performing or opening for Kamala. But no, this is amazing. This is, like, celebrity level of excitement. This is a rock star. And then, you know, like, the thing that I'm the happiest about when it comes to a Kamala Harris presidency, it's the economy. And, you know, I'm really excited about how she finally wants to put a cap on prices at the grocery store. And, you know, like, look, even if price controls, you know, may lead to, like, shortages of food and basic goods, you know, the shortages will lead to rationing, and rationing, that leads to equity, and we need to be a more equitable place in America to dismantle our legacy of white supremacy. So thank you so much for hearing my voice and so many voices like me.
Okay, so they've went on the streets, they've asked, and I haven't heard one person speak why they're voting for Kamala Harris to be a smart reason to do it. All I ever hear is she's the first black woman. She's a woman. She's a woman. She's a woman. She believes in abortions. She believes in abortion. But I have not heard any actual policy. Even the Democrats themselves are pulling back and pulling out and not attending the DNC because she is not for any policies. What, they believe they can just win this election by political popularity? Identity politics? Are you serious? Just because you are in a poly relationship and your wife is with an African American, you think that's the reason to vote for someone for color? For color. I don't get it. I don't get it. I know. My brain hurts too. It's so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. Well, Trump, while he was speaking today, there was an emergency in the crowd, And of course, now since the attempted assassination on his life, he is behind bulletproof glass. This is what happened when an emergency arose.
All right, well, we heard him ask Doctor, trying to clarify what the crowd was asking for, and it appears that call was answered, and the former president has wandered over there with Secret Service in tow, John, to check out what's going on.
Wow. That was very heartwarming. And he stepped away from the bulletproof glass to make sure she's okay and give her a hug. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. See, he's got God in his life. He has his armor of God on. He knows. He knows exactly who is watching out for him, period. He knows exactly who is watching out for him. And Kamala has actually dropped out of the debate with Trump. So, you guys think that she'll ever debate? I don't think she will. She won't even talk to anybody. She will not talk to anyone about anything, which is crazy. It's ridiculous. This one guy, he had a great point in this video.
So why am I not seeing videos coming out of the DNC talking about what they're saying? It's interesting that every single Democrat that's gotten up on that stage is telling me how bad things are in America, how cost of living is through the roof, how Americans are struggling to pay their bills, how food costs are up, medical costs are up, pharmaceutical costs are up. I hear how we have to fix the border. We have all these problems, but yet they're the ones that have been in power, and they're the ones that have told you the last 3.5 years there's no problems, but now you need to elect them in order to fix the problems that didn't exist. I don't hear them talking about the jobs numbers, in which CNN just reported that almost 1 million jobs that we were told were created over the last year just came off the books. Or the fact that every single jobs report we've seen over the last 13, 14 months have all been downgraded. Or the fact that we're losing full-time jobs to part-time jobs, or the jobs that have been created have gone to non-U.S. citizens. Instead, I see ambush videos where they try to ambush Charlie Kirk in order to get some emotional and visceral response, but he's too mature for that. See, Charlie Kirk goes on to campuses and he has open dialogue, and he sits down and he asks questions. He lets them answer the questions, and they go back and forth, and he never gets emotional. And you guys are trying to get him to get emotional, and then when he does it and he asks you one single question, you turn around and run. Harry Sisson tries to ambush Mike Lindell and meets the same fate, doesn't get the response he's hoping for, and ends up looking silly, but yet his followers are like, yeah, you showed him. No, he didn't. Showing him would have sat down with him, had a discussion with him, and talked about policies and see where you disagree and try to challenge him on those policies. Or the red-faced ginger motherfucker thinking he could also ambush Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is way too fucking smart for you people. And you failed miserably, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, they did. Charlie Kirk was in there. He asked questions. And one guy was asking him, well, you don't even know what a woman is. He said, well, why don't you get one? And he said, I do. I have a wife. that is their subject. It's always about sex. That's it. They have nothing to bring to the table. No policies, nothing of any conversation or lucratives or anything. But did you know that the Trump gunman, Thomas Crooks, did you know he used encrypted messaging accounts that was on various platforms located in Belgium, New Zealand, and Germany, according to members of Congressional Task Force? That would make sense. But listen, Supposedly he was someone who didn't have accounts at one time and all this. I'm telling you, he was the GOAT. He was the GOAT. What if this was a kid that wasn't, he believed everything? I don't know. But what if he wasn't even the shooter? Okay. What if he was being set up? What if he was being drawn in for whatever reason, told to meet, told for something? What if? And he got up there and he was the GOAT. And the real shooter, which I've seen video of it, on the water tower, there was someone up there, and I believe that was the initial shot. But what if Crooks was not even that? Because you're going to tell me that he was able to have encrypted which a VPN would run it everywhere, would protect it everywhere. He was being told to do the stuff he was doing. He was being to do the stuff he was doing because they were saying, oh, he couldn't even shoot and this and that. He was groomed, especially with that one video that came out. I think it was in 2023. Yeah, from BlackRock. So I just think he was the GOAT. I don't think he wasn't, he's not smart enough to do all that. One person. He take your eyes off this and look at this. I'm telling you, that's what's been going on with them. Plain and simple. That's how they do. Well, Congressman Mike Waltz, part of the congressional task force investigating the Trump assassination attempt, reveals that evidence has led to conclude that the killer, Thomas Crook, did not act alone. And this Mike Waltz is not I'm going to call him the Oompa Loompa that's running for vice president. This is actual Congressman Mike Waltz. And he believes that there's evidence he has now to show that he was not working alone, that Thomas Crook did have more. And finally, Robert F. Kennedy plans to endorse Donald Trump in his dropout speech on Friday. So Robert Kennedy is dropping out of the race, and he plans on endorsing Donald J. Trump. Period. Not Kamala Harris. As people stand to say with those reports, he does not give two shits about Kamala Harris. I can't wait to hear his speech. It's going to be quite interesting to hear. And divers are searching for the wreckage for all of the bodies in Sicily. They have found 4 bodies so far. But did you know that this was a company that was heavily invested in investigating 9/11? Isn't that interesting? A lot of the players that were on this sure were. But did you know right now that for the first time in history that a bar of gold is valued at $1 million? A bar of gold. This milestone was achieved on Friday when the precious metals spot price exceeded $2,500 per troy ounce, reaching an all-time high, which we've known gold has always been, I'd rather have gold because it's going to come a day that's probably what we're going to barter with and pay for stuff with. That's just the way I believe it's going to end up for us, in my mind. But in the past 2 months, I can't believe this, there have been at least 5 reported cases of Houston area authorities finding abandoned and deceased newborns, including 2 recent incidents in Harris County. Babies dying. Oh, it's crazy. It truly is a nut job. Let's see. Where's that other thing? I saw this picture. Who's that look like to you? I swear that looks like Don Jr., doesn't it? I'm sure it's not, but I swear it looks like him. I don't think he'd go undercover at the DNC. Do you? I just don't think you would. It's hilarious. The things people do. out there for sure. For sure. Let's see. Hang on, guys, I'm trying to pull this up. Takes a minute. But that's how they roll. Here's a speech that Trump had with Putin, one little part of it.
I was saddened by the fate of the Palestinian people. They deserve a far better life. They deserve the chance to achieve their extraordinary potential. Palestinians have been trapped in a cycle of terrorism, poverty, and violence, exploited by those seeking to use them as pawns to advance terrorism and extremism.
And he's right. This is a war that the America is funding both sides of it. And what is it, 4 proxy wars that's in the making? He would piss them off. But 4 proxy wars in the making. That's just crazy. But I think the DNC is over on the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. So we only have a few more days with all this craziness. Some are saying that the DNC is an indoctrination, that they're doing all kinds of satanic rituals and stuff like that. This was even on the news, one trusted news source, that they believe that this is like a step of where you get indoctrinated and move forward. So there's a lot of sick things out there, a lot of sick people out there. And people just, you got to be smart. You got to know the truth, because these people don't care about you. They could give 2 shits about you. They have nothing good to say at all. They want America to fall so they can turn around and build it the way they want to. And trust me, the way they want to, it will not. It will not end well. And that's just simple facts of the truth. But you can now at the DNC, they have all these signs up. Inside of it says Hotties for Harris, Sex and Feminism DNC after party. Yeah, they're having after parties at the DNC. Typically, the sign of a bad party is one where all of the guests are glued to their phones. One post-conversation gathering in Chicago aimed for exactly that. So if you're ever watching the DNC, you'll see everybody on the phones because they're being paid to be there. At 2 or 3 of her other rallies, she pays $15 an hour for people to go to her rallies, flies them in. This particular one was only invitation only, and you had an ID to bring that they can match up. They are planning something if they haven't already got it going. They are planning something, but please get out and vote and go to www.conventionofstates.com. Very important, and sign that petition. We absolutely need to get that taken care of and get that done. Yeah, that's what I've heard, Joseph. I've heard that that's what they're doing, but I'm not quite sure. I can't prove it. But everyone, that is the end of our show tonight. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. And we'll be back tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Got some good stuff coming up tomorrow night. And stay safe. Tomorrow's Thursday. Work week's almost over. It's almost over. But stay safe. And as always, cut your crazy out.